Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. In our last class, we discussed Qawa'id al-Fiqhiyyah, which is the legal maxims, and we talked about um, the first matters are determined according to intention. We also talked until the hardship begets facility, right? So we talked about the certainty, we talked about the principle in transaction things is permissibility, talked about the principle is absence of liability unless proven. We also talked about this hardship begets facility. And did we talk about this? Necessity renders prohibited things permissible? Yes, I think so. Yes. So I think this
Yes,
is
sir.
what, okay, thank you. So I think number 7, this is what we are going to talk about today. Harm should be eliminated. La ضرر ولا ضرار, right? Which means that this is the hadith that Prophet ﷺ said this: harm should neither be inflicted nor received. So, in order to understand this, understand more, we have to look into the sub maxims of this maxim. There are many sub maxims, and you will see that there are many examples for you to understand. And actually, this maxim is actually very much close to what we call today sustainable development goals. Let's say I also have given you most of your assessment should actually follow the sustainable development goal. I also ask you to choose from 17 goals that United Nations agenda is actually bringing this sustainable development. Because most of the time we talk about the climate change, the global warming, the harming to the resources, harming to the universe. So now if you understand this maxim, it is quite close to what actually they are talking about sustainable development. So number one, a particular harm should be accepted to repel a common harm. The second one is the lesser of the two evils is chosen. The third one is repelling an evil or mischief is preferable to the acquisition of benefits. Number four, harm may not be removed by causing harm. Okay. If you look into the first one, if you see an unqualified people in an institute or in a university or in administration or in politics, they could be prohibited from practicing their professions in order to safeguard the interests of the public. So because yeah, you take them out, it is a kind of harm. It is a kind of harm because when you take them out, definitely they are having problem because they might not have their sustenance for that particular life, for that particular family. They will be harmed, but at the same time they are the unqualified people, right? They are the unqualified people. So now you can see these examples everywhere. Now why there are corruption in certain institute or in a political party or in an administration, right? It's all happening because of the unqualified people, because they are not qualified. That is the reason why they are the one who bring in corruption to particular to that particular institute. So now you make them out in a way it looks like you are making harm to those people because they are going to be fired from the institute. But it is good for the most of the people. We just concern it is good for the common people because if they keep on there, if that kind of unqualified people keep on staying in that institute or politics and administration, then they cause more problem. That's why particular harm could be accepted. This is one sub-maxim. The second one is actually the lesser of the two evil is chosen, which means that you have two evil, both of them are bad. Both of them are bad. So which one do you want to choose? This is a perfect example is when a disease is spread, the people can be confined to a certain locality. When the life of a pregnant mother is in danger, abortion would be preferred. So now, when you think there are many circumstances comes like this, but maybe this one's very not usual. When there is a baby in the womb and there is a mother, but the doctor can only save one life because now both of them in danger, the mother and you know the mother and the baby. So now at this matter, it is quite difficult to make decision, especially for the mother. You can ask any mother, what do you prefer? Do you want to keep your baby or not? So definitely this is what the beauty of the motherhood. The mother will say, I'm okay, I'm ready to die, but please keep this baby. But others will look into differently. Let's say the father, for example, the father will think, I need the mother because the mother is the one who we know. The baby we don't know yet. So you can see that this is a very difficult situation to decide which one to keep, which one to lose. But now you need to choose either one because you don't have the option number three. If you have the proper what do you call proper solution to this problem or proper treatment to this disease, then it's fine. But if you don't have it and you end up only with these two options, then the maxims can be used when the life of a pregnant mother is in danger. Abortion will be preferred, right? Only that case abortion is preferred. Number three, repelling an evil or
Uh,
mischief. Yes, love.
Sir, sorry to cut you off. May I
No
ask,
problem.
could you provide some example about a particular harm could be acceptable to repel a common harm?
Okay. So particular harm, what I mean by that, let's say you 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 have a property in a place where actually there is a public road is going. For example, now even though it is your own property, but because of your property in between or beside the main jalan, the common road, because of that, the people are actually suffering. So now it will be very difficult to relocate you because you don't want to locate, but the government can actually push you to locate because your family has to locate from this place to other place for common good. This is what we are talking. If there is something, because this is not actually you are intentionally, want to harm people, but sometimes it happens because of the development. It happened, for example, when some government wants to build a bridge, for example. They want to build a bridge, and then your house, your property somehow happen in between those bridges. So now, uh, without you relocating, it is not possible to build that bridge. So now, particular harm for you. There is a particular harm for you. This one can be accepted for the referral to a common harm, right? So these are the things. There are plenty of other examples as well. Like I told you earlier, there is someone actually um, very needy. There is a needy person who really need a job, but he is not a qualified person. Now, let's say there is a train driver. What do you call it? There's a train master, for example, who is a needy person, but his eyesight has gone. I mean, slowly is going. So now you know how important is the eyesight for a person who actually managed to drive the train. Because when someone ride the train, there is a 300 to 500 people are sitting in that train. So this person, the person who actually liking is actually doing it, of course, for many years. Let's say he was doing it for 20 years. Now he only have this job. He has no other jobs, and he only know how to do this. But the problem now is his eyesight has gone, or maybe reduced. So now, do you want to keep him because you want to help him because he has a family, or you are looking into those people who go every day, 300 to 500 people in the train. So now you need to decide. So now particular harm can be made for that particular person. Maybe you take him out, maybe you give him some other job. Definitely it's not going to be the job that he was doing before, because when he lost his eyesight, he become unqualified to do that job. So this is what actually a particular example can be given. All right. Then you have
So,
number two. Yes.
in conclusion, I can say that regarding the a particular harm is it is more like the sometimes we have no choice to keep this worker to keep still working for us because like for the example like given that given by the sir just now like
Yes. Correct.
the problem of eyesight. Now I
Exactly.
want to protect my my passenger safety. So
Exactly.
what I can do is I'm going to fire you. But I'm so sorry. This a little but this is already assumed as a common harm because I have no
Exactly.
choice.
Because we don't
Oh,
have choice, and then there is a possibility that it might harm bigger, it might harm common people, right? So now sometimes it will be very difficult to decide, but we have to decide according to this maxim. That's why these maxims are there. Now people are doing it, of course, they actually follow, but we just want to tell you this maxim was there for many centuries ago. This is not something new. This is for Islam. This is not something new. It's been there for many centuries. That's how they decide. That's how they make decisions, right? Okay. Then we have number two, the leisure of the two evils is chosen. This is also particularly very difficult, a situation. Which one to choose? How to choose? Now, for example, now I ask you to stay home. For example, look at it on COVID-19. I ask you to stay home, but you are positive to coronavirus. For example, I am positive to coronavirus. Let's say I have to stay home. But if I stay home, who will look after my family? How am I supposed to run my family if I stay home? Because I'm actually a person who go outside and who have to. For example, I have to go outside. I have to work. Let's say I'm a cab driver. I only know how to ride cab. I'm a cab driver. So now the government say no, you have to stay home. Because if you go, because you are positive to coronavirus, so if you go to outside, if you do your work, then what happens? The coronavirus may be spread to others because of you. So now you can see the leisure of the two evils is chosen. So which one? Whether you want to choose. So now the leisure is actually what? Which one is leisure? You have to, yeah. This is also difficult to stay home, but you have to choose to stay home. This is what actually today is happening. I think it's quite important to understand as well. The reason why we are not allowed to travel, for example, state to state, because of this, the leisure of the two evils. We have to choose one of them. The same thing goes to repelling an evil or mischief is preferable to the acquisition of certain of benefits. For example, certain factories and produce pollutants. See, for example, there is a country like developing country like India, Malaysia, some other country. In that country, there is a company comes and says, okay, I'm willing to build a big factory whereby this is the foreign country. Okay, this is let's say FDI, foreign direct investment. So this FDI comes and says, okay, I want to build a great industry in your country, especially in this city, and I'm also ready to provide 100,000 jobs. So now you know that most of our graduates are looking for jobs, right? Mostly we think like that because we need a job. We need to, the government has to create jobs, exactly. But if this company that I'm talking coming and then starting, you know, polluting the air and and polluting the environment. So now, which one will you choose? A job opportunity or stopping this company? Because you need to understand, yes, this company can come in, people can go and do their job. This is what actually, this example actually goes to global. Actually, every country, you know, India has it, China has it, Indonesia, there are so many companies nowadays are happening there. People go there because they are poor people and they need jobs. But what happening at the end of the day, it is a slow poison because of the pollution in the air, because of the pollution in the water, because that companies, they cannot open that industry in their country. Do you know why? Because it is prohibited to open in their country. That's why those countries coming from Europe, coming from West, mostly Americans and Europeans, they come and they choose these developing countries to open that kind of chemical factories. Because here it is allowed because the government is allowing here because our people, we are poor people and we need jobs. That's the reason why they are opening. And there are many chemical factories in many places. And they are opening and then they are offering the job which looks like very good, but slowly it is actually killing. Slowly many people are getting affected. They are having cancers. They are having asthma problems, breathing issues. They are slowly, you know, get into, they are dying, but slowly. The children, especially the children who are actually going to, the children is not, right now is not there, but they are going to come. The newborn child having problem. Because of the mother having problem, it affect the child. There are so many examples actually. If you look into news, you can see it. So now the question is, in order to, you know, provide benefits to the people, which which option that you will choose? Offering the job or protecting the people, or offering the job by offering, by admitting the company, or or stopping the company providing the benefit to the people. At the same time, people also not benefiting monetarily, financially they are not benefiting, but health wise they will be benefiting. So now you need to you need to choose which option is good, whether financial benefit is good or health benefits is good. So this is where we have confusions. We don't see the problems, we only see the money. So this sub-maxim will help you to understand this. Yeah, this is number 3. Then you have number 4. Harm may not be removed by causing another harm. An immovable property such as land is offered for sale. A co-owner or a neighbor is given preference over the purchasers based on the principle of preemption right, provide he purchases the property for the market price. So this is actually something what we call preemption right. Most probably, inshallah, we will be talking about this haqq shufa, because this is something only Islam talks about it. Actually talking about the neighbor, whoever is your neighbor, if you are actually selling something, if you are selling something, you have to ask your neighbor whether he wants to buy. Before you ask, you open in the market, you have to ask your neighbor whether are you interested buying my house? Are you interested buying my land? So this is something uh, will come under the property, because we are going to discuss after this the principles, uh, the theory of property. So I just keep this discussion for that class. All right, I will be talking about it in the next class. Okay, good. Then we have okay, number 8, liability justifies gain. Al-kharaj bil-zaman. The benefit of a thing is a return for the liability for loss from that thing. Okay, let's say someone is actually, let's say, let me give you a scenario to understand this. Okay, there is a defective car. Okay, there is a car. Let's say there is a car. I am selling a car to you, and then you bought the car from me. And when you bought the car, I told you this car is very good. There is no problem. This is the second-hand car, of course. But even though this is a second-hand car, there is no problem inside. It's all complete. The engines are good and everything. All of a sudden, you are using the car, of course, for 1 week. After 1 week, you found a huge, big problem in the engine, which both of us we didn't know, of course, right? So both of us we didn't know, but somehow we came to know that there is a huge problem in the engine. So now this is a second-hand car, and then you know that the engines are very expensive, and then if he has to change the engine, it's like it will cost him like what he bought the car. So he has to come and return the car because of the problem in the engine. So it is understandable returning the car. Now the question is, when you return the car to me, definitely I have to pay you the money that you gave it to me, which means that refund the money. So now the question is, you've been using that car for 1 week, right? You've been using it for 1 week. You only came to know the problem after 1 week, right? So this usage of 1 week, what you should do? Do you think that do you have to pay something for this usage for 1 week? Anybody can answer. What do you think for this 1 week?
I think we have to pay.
We have to pay certain. How do we pay? How do we calculate the payment now? Okay,
As a
this is
rent,
what we
sir,
think. Yes, Fazan. Yes, Fazan.
should we pay the car as a rent?
We pay car based on the rental. Okay, this is also
Yeah.
good. Idea is good, but basically speaking, he should not pay anything. This is where you need to understand the maxim: liability justifies gain. Okay, why he should not pay the rental or whatsoever? Because this is where actually we need to understand. In a way, logically speaking, okay, you may think that you have used it for 1 week, so let me just pay you something. But at first, you didn't ask for rental. Number two, when you ask for it, you ask for the complete good car. I mean, there is no defect. Now you are keeping that 1 week, that defective car, which you think is a good car. You don't have to pay the rental for it. Why? Because during this 1 week, if there is something happened to that car, let's say someone steals your car. I mean, you didn't know it's a defective, because you will be knowing the defective. There is a defect in the car, you will be knowing it only after 1 week. But during this 1 week time, if someone steal your car, or your car got into fire and burned completely, who is responsible for that? You tell me. Who will be responsible? The seller or the buyer?
The buyer.
Very good. You are responsible. Let's say in this scenario, I am the seller and you are the buyer, right? So you are responsible for it because while you are keeping it, it got into fire or someone stole your car, right? So you become the responsible, not me. Because until now you didn't know that I sold the defective car. So now you are keeping that responsibility. This is what we call liability justifies gain. That gain means that 1 week that you've been using it is a gain. It's because you took the responsibility. If something happened, you will be the one. But now I came to know that you have given me the car, it's actually defective car, which now I'm actually returning to you, which means that you gave me the wrong car. You gave me, so you need to tell me. You need to tell me that I gave you the wrong car. So that's the reason why you don't have to pay me any rental. All right. The same thing goes to partners in musharaka contract and the owner of the capital, sahib al-mal in mudaraba contract, take the risk of loss and they are for therefore are entitled to the profit. This is where exactly how do we say why in musharaka and mudaraba why they are equally sharing the profit and loss. They are sharing the profit because they are also sharing the risk. If there is any loss happening in their business, the reason we need to understand why actually we are allowed to um, uh, to, uh, to 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 exchange something and get profit. For example, you bought something. Let's say you bought 10 kilo of apple in Thailand, and then very good quality apple in Thailand, and then you are bringing it to Malaysia, to Kuala Lumpur. So when you bought it 10 kg for let's say 200 ringgit, and then you actually brought it to Kuala Lumpur and you want to sell it, will you sell it for 200 ringgit? No,
No.
no, of course you won't. You will sell it for at least 250 or 300 ringgit,
Yeah.
and then you will be
Because you
why?
have to get
Because
the
exactly
benefits.
because of the expenses. Not now,
Yes.
I agree with you. The expenses that you brought it, most probably the delivery, the transportation. But at the same time, don't you think you had that responsibility to keep that 10 kilo of apples safe? This is what you took the responsibility. And your responsibility justifies gain. That's why you are allowed. That's why you are allowed to to take extra profit. You are allowed to take profit based on that liability. Okay, I hope you understand. Then we have the next one. The last one is actually when it is forbidden to take a thing, when it is forbidden to eat a thing, when it is forbidden to do a thing, it is also forbidden to give it, right? It is wrong to give means it is also wrong to receive, all right? Usuri is actually prohibited to take, and also usuri prohibited to give. Bribe is actually prohibited to take. The same bribe is also actually also prohibited to give. So I cannot say that I don't take bribe, but sometimes I'm happen to give bribe. Both of them are wrong. The similar thing goes later. Inshallah, we will be talking about forbidden what they call it forbidden properties. For example, um, if I am not allowed to eat pork, if I'm not allowed to eat drink wine, can I actually give it to somebody? Can I sell it to somebody? The similar things to go. Whatever that haram to consume it is also haram to do trading. It is also haram to give it to somebody. It is also to haram to sell it to somebody. So I don't drink wine, but can I have a share? Can I have a share in business of wine? Can I buy some market share? Can I have some market share in business? So when it is haram to consume, it is also haram to do trading. It is like, what Jewish has been doing, because there were certain things it was haram to eat for them. And then what they did actually, they started converting that haram into something, because fat, they are not allowed to eat anything, any fat in the meat. Like for example, today we cannot eat the blood, isn't it? So they are not allowed to eat fat from the meat. But what they did actually, they they changed the fat into oil, and then they started selling the oil. And then from the money what they get from the oil, they buy something halal to eat. So now, this is what I was telling earlier, eating halal but using haram money. Even though I'm eating halal, but my money that I'm using is not the halal money, it's a haram money. All right, this is what happens. So I hope you understand all this. So that's all from me. This is actually the last part of the legal maxim. So hopefully, inshallah, we will be continuing doing in our next class. We are going to talk about the theory of property.
Sir,